switched off the wrong button. I'm going to try and make this some form of a tutorial lesson, if you will, on how to get a bit of a bigger, better sound when it comes to like your patterns and stuff. So we'll see how it goes, and you can drop your comments down. I've actually got something now that I can monitor Twitch chat, hopefully, and we'll keep an eye on tabs and we'll see how it goes. So I've created some form of a little rhythm, just something simplistic for now, just to basically get the idea across. So this is what we got to work with so far. It's like a very old school hip hop style, which is what I like to go with. Right, so to start, it's not a bad sound, but what I'm gonna do is pad out the snare a little bit. It's nice, but it's not a massive sound, is it? So we'll see how this goes. Got a bit of a better thing there going on. So we're just basically sticking down a perk underneath the main snare to give it a bit more backing. You see? Gives a bit more. We'll go with a modern sound snare from the perk with it, just to give it a bit of a bounce. Actually, let's just kill the hat line and keep the kick going. So this gives it a little bit more rhythm to your snare, but we're actually going to use an alternative snare or possibly an alternative perk to create that sort of a jump in between. So, we could even pitch a tom. They're too low. Snaps. Oh, that could work. Okay. So always try and rename things just because it helps. Okay, so we've got kind of a pattern thing going on there on the snare. Not a pattern thing, a more rhythmic idea, but this is where I aim to do most of my educational purposes of this video. We're going to put a stereo spread on the snare itself. I've grouped all of these snare parts to channel 2 in the mixer. Reason being is because I want to keep them all together, and this is the sound that it gives it. But just watch what we're going to do now, right? Spreads it wide, right? We're going to link it to that, tune it, drop it. So, ideally, the other thing we've really done is we opened up the stereo field with the sound of the snares. We've linked it to another channel, and we've actually brought the stereo spread down and switched the can't think of the friggin' name of it now. we switched the stereo field. So this is what we started with. You added the stereo shaper. All that really does is widen the sound. But it's kind of why you want to get out of a snare anyway. You want a nice wide sound. So that's the snare as a gist. Now we're going to work on the kick. Now, I'm not liking the fuzz, or what I call fizz, of the end of that kick. So we're going to go into this section here. And we're going to take everything down to the point where you may only even just hear a little click. There you go. Right, all I want at the moment is that click. Literally that. What I'm going to do is bring the sustain up a bit. That should allow the tail to carry on a little bit more. You see? That's all we really need for that kick. So let's have a little look at the filters, what we can do here. Sometimes you can use these filters to make a very boxy, dry sound, a very like lower, deep, thuddy kick. That's better, and I apologise about any language you hear outside here. I've got my window open. It's not the intended thing, but you know, it is what it is. Right, we've got a kick perk to follow this, which is this. Now, a kick perk is literally a perky little sound that'll make the kick sound a little bit more vibrant, thicker possibly, and this is what I've chosen. So what I'm going to do with this one, same again, drop all this back, just to get a little. Because I want the hiss on the end of that one as like a hat after the kick. So together as a listen. Now I'm going to use a pad. What I call a pad is something that's got like a lot of heavy low end, but not really a lot of high punchy presence in the kick. That would be a good one, but it's a bit too wet. Actually, do you know what? We're going to try that. Let's see what this sounds like. Same again. Bring all this back because there's only a certain amount of that sound that we want. But with the thump of the kick, which is what I'm trying to model now, you do want a bit more tail than with the boxy side of it. So little, let's see if we can delay the start a bit and then bring attention on. There you go. So I've literally only got the oomph of the kick. Let's try this out. Yeah, right. Now let's try and put these all together. Right, often you'll do the same thing that I'm doing now. I'm not happy with how tinny that hiss is on it. So we're just going to change it for something different. Ooh. Well, that's nice. That might be what I'm looking for here. Yeah, more of a patty kick, that'll do. Okay, so in here's the next part of the kick spread, what I like to call it, at least anyway. Right, so you got your kick on the main channel here. I haven't done it this time. Usually what I tend to like to do is bring all of these sliders down to 50%, just so when you come to having made the entire song, you've got a lot of room to mess around with things, but I haven't actually done that in this particular instance because I was a bit of a dumbass. But there you go, here's what it is. Right, I'm going to do roughly the same thing here. If I remember the right one. Stereo 2 again. Right, so this is the weird sound you're going to get when you spread the kick. That's just like, that's wrong, isn't it? Yeah. But a lot of people like that, but we're going to work with that and do this. See, what I've done is you put it nearly in the center of the mix, which is typically where a kick tends to go anyway. But you've given yourself a lot more room to put a bass in there as well, which is where people often struggle more than anything else, is where how to match the kick and the bass in a mix entirely. But so far this is what we're gonna have. I don't know if it's gonna sound muddy or not because we are still in the mix, but we'll see. So we're going to put a bit of EQ on this kick anyway, just to give it a bit more colour. Right. You see why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it now. So it's a thick sound, but it shouldn't overpower everything. So let's have a little next part, hi-hats. Pretty much all I've got for this is just a simple hi-hat line that I made. Alright, so what we're going to do, same again, stereo shaper. We're going to use preset number 3 this time instead, because I like how wide that makes it. Rename you here. Hi-hats, spread. Same again, slap him onto your spread channel. Just gives it a bit more space in the mix. Okay, so something I wanted to show you guys. Bring these up a bit. That's better. Okay, so listen, quite simplistic, boring, right? Well, if you highlight every one, you can do that in Fruity Loops using Control and A shortcut, and then if you hold Alt and R, you get this little thing. Now, first of all, you'll think, oh crap, because it'll change all of the patterns of this. Just unselect pattern, okay? Now, I'm going to slap all these back to standard, just so I can show you what I'm trying to show you. We're going to try and, well, maybe it's not the right word, but humanize this a little bit more. So this is what we got so far. So first of all, let's get the velocities a little different. You don't want to go too drastic, and then put a little bit of a pan in. I have a preference to pan to my left for some reason. Release isn't really a big thing when it comes to single notes like this. You got 1 point. Right, what these do, mod X and mod Y, it's like you're using a cutoff filter. It just brings the high end out of it, really. You see how it gives us a little bit of variance, and then pitch. It sounds weird, but when you chuck it in with other things, right, so we're not finished quite yet. We're going to do something similar to this one. But we're not going to mess with the pitch on that one. This one's more of a crucial sound because this follows the pattern of the snare. So we're not going to mess with the velocity of these ones. Pull out the pitch, the pattern a little bit. And sorry, I didn't mean velocity, I meant the cut off. Just going to give it a little bit of variance to it. Don't actually like the alterations made in the pitch on that one. That's a bit better. It's not so crazy though. Right, so we've got you all on channel 3. Let's get a little bit of a verb going on here. It's always a, well, it's not always a preference, it's a personal thing, but it's a preference for me. Always stick a little bit of a reverb on your hats. I personally find it just makes things seem a lot more alive in the actual mix itself. So let's have a listen and see what we got so far. So it's not bad. I need to bring the hi-hats down a bit. So the problem I'm having is that snare still doesn't stand out enough. So let's have a look on it. So I don't want a wide sound with this, that's the problem that I'm having right now. This could work. We will find out in a minute. Okay, there's a problem there. sound I'm looking for. I will find something now. I'm going to use that bass in a minute. Oh, okay, this could work. There we are, standing out on top now. Still going to put a little bit. Let's see how this does. That's better. It's more what I was looking for. Alright, so no one to do this, but that could work. Let's have a little look. Like I said, I'm not usually one to use loops. I'm just going to give it a try and see what comes of it. No, that's just not the right thing. Okay, I like that, but there's one thing. There you go. That'll do for now. Right, so second reason I wanted to bring you here is it's always a good idea to fill out your songs with something more of a perk rather than just like a perk line is what I like to call them, which is like a perk hi-hat line. So you got your typical, like, that's your hi-hat line. Well, what I want to create is a perk hi-hat line of sorts. So it's always easier, I find, to do this without the so just basically with the kick and the snare. So the only sound you're playing with is that, so you know exactly where you're going. So first and foremost, I like setting this up personally before I actually start making it. So I'm going to make my spread channel perk spread. Where's my perks? There they are. Stick you on there. And I know this is very much backwards way of doing it, but yeah, it's, you know, all of these things are about preference at the end of the day. It's really it's more about what people like as opposed to what people do. No, that's not what I'm looking for. What am I doing? Oh, I don't want to save the past. Just sorted. I'll just do the same friggin' thing. It's not that hard. smack. This is probably going to sound very, very strange at the beginning, but we'll find out now. So these are the perk sounds that I've chosen. One of them, one of them, one of them, and one of them. Let's get that starting a bit sooner. That's better. So let's try and track something together. So more often than not, just to start with, try not to make things too complicated for yourself, because you will end up changing this a lot between now and when you've done what you're trying to do. Sort that up. Friggin' reverb out, man. That's a bit better. I'm going to, with this one, do a little messing around with this. Let's alter that verb a bit as well. So you just got a simple, silly little. But the fact is that if you just have, like, well, this for instance, it's a nice flow, but just gives a little bit more funk to it. I don't know if funk's the right word, but okay, let's have a little bit of a cut session going on here with this. Don't like that. Don't like that. Okay, so first and foremost, what the hell am I actually even trying to achieve? So I don't like the intro bits there. Okay. Let's make this a little bit more interesting, if we can. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. Nothing special, really. Just one of those things, you know. Now let's piss around with the bass. So for this one, I'm gonna have to stick it on channel 9. First and foremost, let's stick a limiter on there. Let's take the kick and sidechain it to that track only. Slap this onto compression with the sidechain. Bring that down to there. That up, that down. Threshold up at there. Let's see how that does. Right, so let's have you cutting yourself for a start. That's just all of my favorite settings here. Okay, let's bring the pitch down a bit. There you go. That's a nice fat sound. Right, same again. Spread the bass over the place and link it to you. Shimmy do. Let's try that. first and foremost. what we got to so far. Alright, so let's get this kick a bit different, because I'm not loving the sound that this is making, so